Sticky and Stretchy Show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Zund America. I am Nate Proctor. I'm one of the trainers here. Happy to have you here. And with me,
I'm Adam Walkowski. I'm a project specialist.
And today we are doing some stickers and some stretchy material. We're using the DRT and the Kiss Cut tool. Yep, definitely. We got it all set up, ready to go. But before we get there, definitely we want to show off what we're going to be using to cut this stuff out, right? And register and all that fun stuff. Behind me, we have the S3L 1600. It's always hard for me to remember which sizes we got. You can just look at them, but we got many, many different sizes of machines.
Yeah, especially with this front extension, it kind of throws you off a little bit. But
throws me off.
We do have a full front extension on this machine. Gives us a little bit of extra space for picking up parts in the front.
Definitely.
You guys can see we also have a projector on this system. We will not be utilizing it, but this projector can be used for projecting down the part placement and identifying it later on. Just another feature that we have that we can use.
Yeah, I love it. It works so good. So with the S3, the modular design, we can easily upgrade any of these machines, existing machines, or if you got to get a demo and buy one for yourself, by all means, any configuration that we have. Holler at our guys for that stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about the tools a little bit that we're going to be using for this demo and what's on the machine currently. So we have two universal modules on this machine. Universal being we can throw just about any tool in it. You'll see us change out a tool a little bit later to go from kiss cutting vinyl to through cutting fabric. So we have our universal cutting tool right here, just a drag knife. We also have a glide shoe on it, just to keep the material held down when the knife picks up. Next we'll go to the kiss cut tool, KCT for short. We use a lot of acronyms at Zund, so you'll get really used to three-letter acronyms.
There's a lot of them.
So KCT, Kiss Cut tool. With that, we have a couple different springs, which is how we adjust the knife. Really minimal operator intervention when it comes to this tool. All they're really adjusting is that spring tension to get the right depth on the Kiss Cut.
And beyond that, we also have a glide shoe for the Kiss Cut tool. Can you pull that thing out for me? Goes right over the tip of the blade and exposes just as much of the blade as what you would possibly need to get through the vinyl, and so you don't go into your liner, right? Half cutting is just as bad as through cutting when it comes to kiss cutting.
On this machine, we also have a pen tool, so it's an option. Doesn't come on every S3, but if you're doing a little bit of drawing or marking, you can add a pen to this as well. So you actually have three tools instead of the normal two.
Just two, exactly. Looking good, looking good. S3 features. Bring this thing to the front for me once and let it just break that light barrier. All right, we got some safety features on this machine. Obviously, if you put your fingers here, we have light barriers, just lasers pointing back and forth, just to make sure that it doesn't slice off any fingers, right? You know, obviously, whenever the machine is working, you wouldn't want to just stand back and let it do its thing, as with all machines, you'd want to do that. But by all means, we have e-stop buttons, light barriers, resistance against motors, feeling for that stuff, all these safety features involved with this machine.
Yeah, if you've seen our other demos, we primarily use G3 machines, which have crash barriers on the sides. With the S3, everything's enclosed, and all we have are safeties are the light barriers. But because everything's enclosed, it's pretty hard to get in there.
Exactly. Nice thing about that, if you do that in the middle of a job, let's say it cuts something and it flies up and breaks that light barrier, you don't have to stop that entire job.
Which we'll show.
And yeah, we'll show it in the middle of the job, but no stopping of jobs. You can just continue on where you left off.
All right, so we're going to feed this material forward.
Yeah, let's get this.
We do have a conveyor belt on this machine, so we're going to do a little bit of feeding. You can either do it within the software or within the control panel. There are a couple different ways to achieve this, but we just want to bring the material forward and get it into our workable area.
Multiple different conveyor belts available for these machines. Whether you're in a clean room or you're just making stickers, we got what you need for that stuff, definitely.
Also have different colors we can use if you are using black or dark materials all the time. Don't want to utilize the camera. Probably don't want to have a gray surface to register on, so we can also do white or other colors.
And if it's close, you can still adjust your camera settings to be able to set presets to save those exact numbers. You know, there's savings for absolutely everything with our software, whether it's the best tool and knife to use per material, the speed and acceleration, obviously, the base depth, cutting through it, overcutting, eliminating overcutting. a little bit of everything, and it can be all dialed in with the workflow, so the operators don't even have to worry about that stuff at all.
Yeah, you pretty much do it once or twice, and then you're done.
Love it. Software is really, really nice to look at and easy to use and easy to learn as well. Right? When you get this machine installed, you get a couple days of training on site, and then you can come in for training or do some virtual training with yours truly right here.
Yeah, so let's talk about some of the processes we're going to use in this job. So start from top to bottom here. We have our material. So we have a full list of material that's built into the software. Sets you up really well at the beginning.
Yeah.
You can go off of these materials really easily, and you're not going to have to adjust much. Yeah. So we're going to use this downgrade foil vinyl. I could choose a 3M Avery if I wanted to, but this is what we chose. So we've got all our settings into this one.
At the end of the day, as long as we got a Kiss Cut tool and a UCT tool available, that's mostly what we need. But by all means, we have all these different default material profiles with our software that comes with it. And it'll get you in the wheelhouse, if not just cut out perfectly for you right out of the box. But by all means, you can copy and paste any of that stuff and create your own database.
Yep, we can have it show only the materials that you'll be cutting on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So that way your operators aren't trying to filter through a whole list of materials. And they're always picking out the same ones.
Yep.
So.
Make it as easy as possible on those new operators. That's kind of how I train people, just expecting them to have no experience with this machine whatsoever, and they're running by day 2 for sure.
Oh yeah,
day 1 honestly.
Doesn't take long.
Yeah.
So we'll move down to our layers. So you notice we do have 2 register layers. We have one that's hidden right now, so we can quickly change between our overcutter camera and our integrated cutter camera. So
what is that overcutter camera?
So the overcutter camera, which we'll demonstrate in a bit. It is a actual Canon camera that sits above the table, and it's going to capture the entire table and all its registration marks. So we don't have to go to each registration mark with the beam.
Yeah. So. Huge time saver, most definitely.
Works really well for rolled materials, board materials, anything
textiles.
We're going to utilize it on both this vinyl and the fabric that we're going to cut after.
And if for any reason there's any stretch, we have different registration types to utilize. Best fit, it adjusts with the dots where it reads it. Yep. So if there is a wrinkle or whatever, potentially, or some stretch, it'll adjust for that, so you don't have to recut the job potentially 2, 3, 4 times and waste all that material and time.
Yeah, ideally for the fabric that we're going to be cutting today, we want to use a cradle feeder, which lays the material down flat and make sure it doesn't stretch or have any wrinkles in it. But we're just going to feed off a passive roll today.
Yep, and we'll get to that in a quick sec here. Along with this Kiss Cut in here, we got the UCT. There's many different knives available. Skinny knives, different angled knives, thick knives, more stable. You're always having to worry about overcutting and flex and knife deflection and plow going through the material. And we have what you need on our Zund shop, our website right there. And it
with
gives
vinyl
you some
like
props
this,
about that,
we don't really have to worry about much of that because it's so thin. But as we get into the thicker materials, then we really have to worry about that angle of the knife, because different angles will cause different versions of overcut. But we can compensate for that if there is the one knife that works very well for a material.
It gets pretty deep going into that type of stuff, and I try to portray that information when we do some training and make sure that you guys understand it just as well as I do.
But that being said, we're always here to help.
Definitely, most definitely.
So I think we are ready to get going.
I would think so too. We can feed from this software. We can do test cuts from this software. We can adjust our zones of our vacuum side to side. We can say, hey, we want to only cut 12 inches per spot, and then have it feed every 12 inches if we really wanted to. Yep. But by all means, the most efficient is to cut what's on the table and let it feed, right? That's the nice thing about having this extension table. Just feed a full table length forward, and then you pick it while it's still cutting on the backside there. Max amount of time letting this thing do its thing. So it is taking the picture right now. It's adjusting the vacuum width where it found this page. And away it goes, just like that.
We're going to kiss cut first, and then we'll through cut the entire piece after.
Yep. Doing method per method processing. I can't believe how fast that registration goes, right?
Yeah.
Just think. We got 40 dots on this. And if you had to use the beam camera, yeah, we can optimize it to kind of chill out and not have to read all of those dots really. But by all means, we want to make this as fast and as smooth of a process as possible from rip up to ship, honestly.
While still staying accurate.
While still staying accurate, exactly. You know, least amount of confusion involved for all your operators out there.
Yep. More good parts.
Mm-hmm. So method per method is going to be doing all the kiss cut tools. Maybe I'll break a light barrier right in the middle of it. Right? It happens.
All I have to do is acknowledge that the light barrier is broken.
Yep.
You
can move it around.
Move the beam out of the way if we need to. If something were to pop up, it happens.
You can check these stickers, seeing how it's going. That's pulling off all right. If it wasn't, I could adjust this down a little bit, adjust the glide shoe.
On-the-fly quality control.
On-the-fly quality control. That's a good term for it, most definitely.
All I have to do is hit the online button, and it picks up right where we left off.
Yep. Because, yeah, eventually down the road, you might be cutting material that's really abrasive to the knife. And if you have to reinitialize or just send it down a little bit more on the Z-axis, we can do all that stuff through the control panel in the middle of the job without having to restart the whole job. Questions? What's up? No, you don't. We can put in a certain amount of skip. Oh, yeah. For the OCC, I'm talking in this one. For the OCC, do you have to read every single dot? Definitely not. I can put a certain percentage of dots in there to just ignore if it doesn't see it perfectly. All right, and we can do the same thing for the ICC as well. So I usually put in like a 10% or so with that just to make sure that it's going to just cut instead of trying to find every single perfect dot.
We would definitely adjust that based on the amount of registration marks that are on the job. Say you have 4, you want to make sure you read all 4 of those because you're going to want to maintain that accuracy.
Yeah, but depends on the material.
The amount of dots we have on this one, we can stand to lose a couple if we need to.
Most definitely. There might be a glare from where your machine is situated, and we can always take care of all that stuff with our camera settings and just say I don't want to read every single dot potentially, so no big deal. So we're doing a cutoff right there. You know, maybe you want to just separate each page from each other so you don't end up with a huge ball of waste to try to hopefully fit inside your dumpster. And we have waste cut, we have cutoffs.
You know what? Let's show how long it takes with the ICC camera, just to give a good comparison.
Yeah, why not? Let's do it. Easy enough to stop the job and restart it. He just turned on a layer and turned off another one.
The software is going to show me which dot it wants me to find first.
Points out
once
which
I
one
find that dot,
find.
it's just going to go.
I don't know if you can notice or not, but it is skipping dots as well.
So. We do have register mark optimization turned on, and for a long job in a roll like this, as it learns that it's the same job over and over again, it won't have to hit all those dots. It'll hit 2 or 3 and just go.
Look at that. Looking good. Yeah, so with register mark optimization, it is one of the newer features with 3.xx version of our software. That's been out for a little while now for sure. But it works great because by all means, you don't have to read every single dot. And we're trying to save time where we can.
Sure. No.
Look at that peel. All right, get that weeding line.
I am not a hand model, folks. Bear with me.
Yep. Sure. So automatic cutoffs, automatic waste cut associated with our job processing that we have. The glide shoe makes it a nice, consistent kiss cut throughout. Whether it's looking for high and low spots on the machine, which we're cutting into this belt, and it's going to be there for sure, as I'm sure a lot of business owners have seen. But by all means, using a glide shoe with our kiss cut here, it's going to adjust for that high and low spots, so you get good, consistent cutting 100% of the time. So yeah, some of the other knives, we just developed some new knives for our kiss cut tool, by the way. What is it, the Z6 and 7, I want to say? for our patented knives there. You want to open up the shop once. Let's
Yep.
check those properties out. So it's a thinner profiled knife, and it is patented at this point. And we want to make sure that we're keeping our intellectual ideas here and properties. So yeah, Z5, Z6, it gives you some recommended materials over there, some properties on it. It's all about eliminating drag and push and plow and overcut. So we have so many different knives out there with different angles and profiles to them to get you exactly what you need.
The shop really.
Vacuum zones. You want to take this one, Adam?
Sure. Yeah, so with all of our cutters, we have adjustable vacuum zones. So we can adjust them from left to right, and that goes all the way down. So we're really focusing right on the job.
Yeah.
So it'll. Yes. So we have multiple zones. They're as wide as the table, and it can close them down as we change the job or as it starts the job. With our G3 table, or actually with the S3 too, we also have tandem mode where we can focus the material on either the front or the back and have the vacuum off in the opposite where the machine is cutting.
Let me just redo this guy.
Pull these. We're going to switch the fabric pretty soon here.
Yeah, I suppose how many more stickers do we need to go?
Oh.
Auto
How do you
cutoff.
set up auto cutoff? So that is in our job process.
Do you want to get a shot of this maybe? I'll just stop the job and we can show it.
Now you want to turn the vacuum off?
Turn that nice vacuum
Perfect.
off. That powerful vacuum. So with the job processing, there's certain things you can do in here that you can do before or after the production, the pages, the feeds, the copies. And I just have a nice little cutoff right here on the start of the feed. So whenever the feed is about to start, that's when it's going to do its cut. And I have the table width picked on there, so it's just going to do the whole table at a certain percentage, so you don't cut from nothing onto the material and lift up a light barrier and then ruin your efficiency there. So job processing being what it is, it's a neglected area of our software that I try to really focus on people to make sure that they can understand what it can do for you, so you don't have to babysit this machine really.
So I know some of you might be asking why I waited to roll this back up. With the S3, it has a vacuum pump instead of a vacuum generator, so I had to wait for the pump to finish turning down. Still had some leftover suction on the table.
Yep. This is a vacuum pump on these S3s that normally come with them. It has a blowback valve on it as well, so it'll suck down, but it'll also blow up, kind of like a...
Give it a cushion.
Give it a nice cushion to kind of help with getting out wrinkles and stuff. And I can, in my job processing, I can set it up after the feed to blow up and suck back down to help with those wrinkles.
With the G3 model, we have a variable speed vacuum generator that is either on and off, and it's fully adjustable.
What are we getting ready for? We are getting ready for some, what is this, spandex type of material?
Yeah, it would be something that you would be used for like leggings, athletic wear.
Banners, flags.
Our friends at the Ram Group in Milwaukee printed this for us. We don't have a fabric printer in-house, so.
There we go. Open up the job. I gotta do a tool change for this stuff though. Where are we looking at time? 10:49, looking good. I'm gonna do a tool change real quick and throw in the DRT. You'll see the speed that it can be done. Red dot to red dot.
As you can see, we quickly change tools.
Multiple tools going into the same types of modules. Okay, one.
And it'll show the initialization process. We do have to tell the machine what tool we put in. Doesn't know, it just knows that there's a tool in there. But in the menu, there's only a list of tools that you own, so it makes it really simple. This is called an AKI, the automatic knife initialization tool. So this measures. There's a laser, measures the tip of the blade.
Touchless initialization. Kind of hard to see it, but touchless initialization, so it doesn't have to ruin your blade just to initialize it. which is awesome. Throw this online. Boom, boom, boom. And let's send this thing to the front.
So if you hear that vacuum turn on when we're feeding, that's that air cushion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's go a little more. Here we go. So same deal. We got the DRT. There's through cutting. I'm looking at my material profile that's selected, the thickness of that profile, which tells me what tool and knife to use. Inside of this through cut layer, I have saved numbers like my base depth and acceleration and speed and advanced
How fast are we
stuff.
going, Nate?
How fast was I going? This is going 4 for acceleration or max. I'm not sure the G forces involved with that. It's fast. And then 40 inches a second as the tool down speed.
Yep.
So,
which is the same speed that we were cutting those stickers at too.
Exactly. We're going to be using what camera we're using? We're using the OCC camera again. All right, so there's best fit inside of there. I got 20% skip register mark on there in case it didn't see a couple of those. No big deal.
Again, we have a lot of registration marks on this print, so
yeah, it could have a stretch to it. So you want to be able to get the max amount in there or not. Right? You have full functionality and being able to save that as a default if you really need to.
More accuracy.
More accuracy.
More registration marks you have, the more accurate you can be.
Yep. Because, yeah, just taking into account where those stretches may be with the best fit registration type, it's going to adjust those cut paths. So, it cuts it exactly where it is, so you don't have to reprint it, recut it, possibly get it wrong again, do all that stuff. We don't need to do that.
But we also have different features where we can adjust that in the software.
Yep.
So we can change our registration to best fit to job, where it'll account for where the registration marks and adjust the job accordingly. Fit to object, where it'll maintain that object size based on where the registration marks are. And if we need to add maybe a little bit more bleed, we can offset it in a little bit.
There we go. So this job is longer than the machine, but all it did is feed it forward to finish it off and then took a new picture and then started cutting again. Which camera are you on? Can we look at that guy? No threads on that. It's definitely stretchy. How's that? Is that a good spot? Yeah. No edges. DRT, great tool, driven rotary tool. Mostly used for textiles. We do have a more powerful version, the PRT. It's too powerful for the S3.
Yes.
Doesn't fit on it, but G3s, it works great for thicker types of textile material.
With the S3, our clearance on the beam is at 1 inch, so that would be our limitation for material thickness on the S3. With the G3, it's 2 inches, or we also have a 4-inch machine.
This is the perfect machine for stickers because of that lift. It doesn't have to take extra time to go up and
fabric
down.
just like this.
Exactly.
Put a cradle feeder on the back. You're going to have perfect cut all day.
Look at that. No problems with this. We nested this material or these shapes with our nesting software. We have multiple different versions of that, so by all means, holler at us about that. We have many videos on our YouTube and everywhere, quite honestly, to show all that stuff. I broke a light barrier on that. No big deal. The knife. Ooh, do we have one right on here?
Yeah, there's one in the drawer.
No, we don't got one. Can we go grab one real quick? I need a knife. Let's do this. I'll just change it in the middle of the job just so you guys can see it. It is a 10-sided knife. And look at that. I just stopped it right in the middle of the job. No big deal. How's that? Is that a good look? 10-sided. We have, it's tipped on these little spots here just to make sure it just gives it a little extra oomph to get through for certain materials. Threaded materials that have gnarly threads on them. Yeah, here's one that's a little more beat up. We also have non-tipped blades. Yeah, there you go, Keith. Very simple tool to set up to replace the blade. Like, look at this. I'm doing this right in the middle of the job, and I don't have to restart the whole job. Just take it offline, throw it back in. I will have to initialize. Cutting with pressure mode or just to a certain spot?
Yeah, so the question is, how are we setting the distance down?
How is it cutting?
Nope. This is electrically driven, so it's powered. We have it full adjustability of the speed that the knife is rotating to. So if we're going to be traveling slower across the material, we don't want to be spinning as we want to try to match that rotation speed as with the speed that the machine is moving as well.
Forgot to put the Aki away. It lets you know that the Aki wasn't in its park location. So, there are safety protocols set up with all this stuff to make sure that you're doing it the right way.
Little switch in there to make sure it's depressed.
The old micro switch. Yep, so many different applications that can be cut with our machines. I mean, we cut a little bit of everything, quite honestly. We're trying to be a tip of the spear when it comes to innovation with cutting technology, all right? And everybody around here is doing their damnedest to make sure that these machines are working as good and efficient as possible, from the service guys up there installing the machines to preventative maintenancing them, to applications doing test cuts for everybody, to training, making sure that you guys get trained up and understand what it takes to efficiently run these machines so you guys can make as much money as absolutely possible. All right? We're a team here, and we're going to do our damnedest to make sure that everything's all good with you, because you're part of the family, guys. We want to make sure that it's efficiently cutting and making you guys money at the end of the day. So by all means, head on over to Zund.com, schedule up a demo, see this beautiful demo facility for ourselves, for yourselves, I mean. What am I talking about?
We're here every day.
We're here every day. And otherwise, you can give service a call, 7 to 7 Central Time. We're around answering questions, any little question it may be, and it's not going to cost you guys money to call in for that stuff. So, by all means, ask away.
Yeah, we're happy to answer.
Yep. So, I suppose we're at probably about our time now, aren't we? Yeah. So, by all means, guys, hopefully you had a fun time watching us cut this material out. Stickers. I love stickers. I'm obsessed with them. So I do it a lot around here.
We make a lot of them.
And I do it right on this machine. It works perfect for it. So we've installed many machines at different sticker companies, textiles as well. We got what you need here at Zund America and Zund Switzerland as well. So, okay.
Oh, let's see.
How many machines do we got in our demo center? One last question. I want to say 13.
9, yep.
13, including training. So we got two machines.
More floating around the building, but yeah.
So we got a little bit of everything around here. So by all means, head over to Zund.com, holler at our salesman, schedule up a demo, see the stuff for yourself. Okay.
Hang around in our booth, ask questions. We're happy to answer.
Yeah, we're answering questions the entire time as well inside of our booth too. So
we'll be doing some routing a little bit later today. So
yeah,
if you're interested in seeing that, stop by.
Mm-hmm. So by all means, check out our routing demo a little bit later. But hopefully this was fun for you guys, and you see some of these stickers and material get cut out super efficiently, and we can do this stuff for you. So hang on by, ask some questions, holler at us, and otherwise, hope you guys have a great day. All right?
Thank you.
Thanks.